The news spread fast. Within hours, every major human news network was broadcasting the story. A Vryn warrior had defected. She had sabotaged her own sister's ship to save human lives. The images of Kira standing beside Commander Daewon played on screens across human space. The reaction was mixed. Some humans called her a hero. Others called it a trick, a Vryn spy operation. Many simply didn't know what to think. The Vryn reaction was simpler. The Empire declared Kira a traitor and placed the highest death mark on her. Any Vryn warrior who killed her would receive ultimate honor and elevation in rank. She was now the most wanted fugitive in Vryn space. Kira sat in her quarters on the Steadfast Hope, watching the news broadcasts. Nari sat with her as she often did these days. "They're calling me a monster," Kira said, pointing at one broadcast. "They say I am proof that Vryn cannot be trusted." "Some people will always think that way," Nari said. "But look at this one." She switched to a different channel where a human professor was explaining the historical significance of Kira's defection. "She's comparing you to humans who defected from authoritarian governments in Earth's history. She's saying you're proof that anyone can choose to do the right thing. But I did terrible things before I changed," Kira said quietly. "I led attacks on colonies. I killed civilians. I followed orders without question. Does changing my mind now erase all of that?" "No," Nari said honestly. "Nothing can erase what happened. But you can't change the past. You can only choose what to do now in the present. And you chose to save lives instead of taking them. That matters." Kira looked at her remaining two hands. She flexed the fingers slowly. "I killed a human child once," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "During a colony raid. The child was hiding, terrified. I could have walked past. I could have let the child live. But I was following orders. Eliminate all witnesses. So I did." Nari's expression was pained, but she didn't pull away. "How old were you?" "By human years, I was 17. By Vryn development, I was an adult warrior. It was my third mission. Did you want to do it?" Kira was quiet for a long moment. "I do not know. I was taught that mercy was weakness, that following orders was the highest virtue. I did not think about wanting or not wanting. I just obeyed. But now when I close my eyes, I see that child's face. I will see it for the rest of my life." "Good," Nari said softly. Kira looked at her in surprise. "Good?" "Yes, because it means you've developed a conscience. You feel guilt for what you did. That's the first step to making sure you never do it again. The humans who worry me are the ones who commit atrocities and feel nothing. I will never be able to apologize to that child," Kira said, "or to the thousands of others I helped kill." "No," Nari agreed. "But you can try to save thousands more. You can use what you know to end this war faster. You can help build a future where no more children have to die in raids. That won't erase what you did, but it might give those deaths some meaning." A knock on the door interrupted them. Daewon entered carrying a datapad. "Earth Command wants to see you," he said to Kira. "Both of us, actually. We have a video conference in 10 minutes. The meeting was tense. 5 admirals appeared on the screen, along with several civilian officials. They asked Kira dozens of questions about Vryn military structure, tactics, and technology. She answered honestly, holding nothing back. "Why should we trust you?" one admiral asked bluntly. "How do we know this isn't an elaborate deception?" "You do not know," Kira said simply. "You must decide based on my actions. I have given you information that has saved lives. I have sabotaged my own people's operations. I have made myself a target for execution by my entire species. What more proof do you need?" "We need to know your endgame," another official said. "What do you want out of this? What's your goal?" Kira thought carefully before answering. "I want the war to end. I want the Vryn Empire to fall or change so completely that it is no longer recognizable. I want young Vryn warriors to have the choice I never had. The choice to question orders. The choice to show mercy. The choice to be something other than weapons. And what about you personally?" The official pressed. "What do you get?" "Probably death," Kira said matter-of-factly. "My own people have marked me for execution. Many humans will never trust me. I have no home, no family, no future except what I build fighting against the empire I served my entire life. But at least I will die knowing I chose to be better than what I was raised to be." The admirals exchanged glances. Finally, the senior admiral spoke. "We've reviewed your service record, Commander Daewon. Your actions in saving this Vryn warrior and integrating her into your crew were unorthodox, to say the least. But the results speak for themselves. The intelligence she's provided has already saved lives. Her tactical assistance at Colony 7 prevented a massacre. Daewon waited. There was clearly more coming. We're creating a new position, the Admiral continued. Cultural liaison and military advisor. Kira, if you accept, you would work directly with Human Command to help us understand Vryn psychology and tactics. You would also help us develop strategies for ending this war with minimal casualties on both sides. Both sides? Kira asked, surprised. Yes. Despite what you might think, we don't want to exterminate the Vryn. We want to stop the aggression. If we can find a way to do that without wiping out your species, we will. Your insights could help us achieve that. Kira looked at Daewon, who nodded encouragingly. She turned back to the screen. I accept. I will help in any way I can. Over the following weeks, Kira threw herself into the work. She helped human strategists understand Vryn command structures. She identified weaknesses in Vryn tactics. She explained the cultural factors that drove Vryn aggression. But more importantly, she started receiving messages, encrypted communications from Vryn warriors she had served with. Young soldiers who had heard about her defection. They asked questions. They expressed doubts about the Empire. They wondered if there was another way. Kira answered every message carefully. She told them about human mercy, about being saved when she expected death, about learning that strength and kindness could coexist. She knew the Empire's intelligence would eventually trace these messages. She knew she was putting herself in even more danger, but she also knew these seeds of doubt might grow into something important. One evening, she found Taijin working on a new defensive system in the ship's workshop. Can I help? She asked. The engineer looked surprised. You know engineering? All Vryn warriors train in basic ship repair. We are taught to be self-sufficient. Sure, grab that calibrator. They worked in comfortable silence for a while. Finally, Taijin spoke. Can I ask you something personal? Yes. Do you regret it? Defecting, I mean. You lost everything. Kira paused in her work. I lost things, she agreed. My rank, my place in society, my sister, any hope of a normal future. But I also gained things. I gained friends. I gained purpose beyond just following orders. I gained the knowledge that I am capable of choosing right over wrong. No, I do not regret it. Even knowing your sister wants to kill you? Especially knowing that, Kira said. Because Asha represents everything I used to be. If I can change, maybe she can too. Maybe others can. The war will not end by killing every Vryn. It will end when enough of us choose to stop fighting. Taijin smiled. You sound like Daewon. I have learned from good teachers. In the command center, Daewon reviewed the latest intelligence reports. Vryn attacks had decreased in several sectors. Not by much, but enough to notice. Some attributed it to human defensive improvements, but Daewon suspected something else was happening. Kira's defection had started conversations within the Vryn Empire, uncomfortable conversations about orders and obedience and whether strength required cruelty. Change was slow. The war was far from over, but for the first time, Daewon could see a path to peace that didn't require total destruction of either species. Yejin entered the command center, carrying a coffee for him. You should sleep, Commander. You've been up for 20 hours. Just finishing these reports, he said, accepting the coffee gratefully. She's really something, isn't she? Kira, I mean. When we first pulled her out of those ruins, I wanted to leave her there. I thought you were crazy for saving her. And now? Now I think it might be the most important thing we've ever done. Not because of the intelligence she provides, but because she proves people can change. Species can change. We don't have to be locked in this cycle of violence forever. Daewon sipped his coffee, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Vryn warriors were reading Kira's messages. Some would ignore them. Some would report them to superiors. But some, maybe just a few, would start to question, to wonder, to hope for something better. You know what the irony is? Daewon said. When Kira begged for mercy back in those ruins, she thought she was offering her genetics, her ability to create powerful offspring. But what she really gave us was so much more valuable. She gave us proof that enemies can become allies, that mercy can be stronger than violence, that showing kindness to someone who doesn't deserve it might be exactly what changes everything. Think we'll win the war? Yejin asked. I think we already started winning it, Daewon said. The moment we chose to save one life instead of taking it. The distress call came through at 400 hours. Daewon was in the command chair within minutes, his crew rushing to their stations. Yejin sat at the pilot controls, her hands already moving across the navigation console. "It's Colony 7 on Tau Ceti," Yejin reported, "under heavy Vrin attack. They're requesting immediate assistance." "How long to get there?" Daewon asked. 20 minutes if I push the engines hard." "Do it." "Ari, prepare the medical bay for casualties." "Taejin, ready all weapon systems." In the back of the bridge, Kira stood quietly. She had been given limited access to ship operations as part of her agreement with Command. Now she looked at the tactical display with experienced eyes. "Commander," she said quietly, "may I see the enemy formation?" Daewon hesitated only a moment before nodding. Kira had proven herself trustworthy over the past month. She studied the screen and her expression darkened. "This is a cleansing formation," she said. "They are not trying to capture territory. They are trying to kill everyone. Every civilian. Every soldier, everyone." "Why?" Taejin asked. "What's the tactical purpose?" "Terror," Kira said flatly. "To make other colonies surrender without fighting. To show that resistance means complete destruction." She paused. "I have led cleansing formations before. I know how they work." The bridge fell silent. It was the first time Kira had directly admitted to participating in massacres. Nari looked uncomfortable but said nothing. "Can you help us stop them?" Daewon asked. "Yes," Kira said. "But you will not like my advice." "Tell me anyway." "The formation is led by a flagship. Destroy it, and the other ships will fall into disarray. But the flagship will be heavily defended. You will lose ships trying to reach it." Daewon looked at the tactical display. Kira was right. The Vrin had positioned their flagship in the center of their formation, protected by layers of smaller vessels. Getting to it would cost lives. "We don't have a fleet," Yejin said. "We're one ship." "Then we need to be smart," Daewon said. "Kira, you know these tactics. How would you defend against a single ship attack?" Kira thought carefully. "I would expect the attacker to use stealth or speed. So I would position scanners to detect stealth and point defense systems to stop fast approaches, but what? I would not expect the attacker to come from below," Kira said. "Vrin think in terms of horizontal battle space. We rarely defend the vertical axis adequately. It is a weakness in our training." Daewon smiled grimly. "Then we come from below." "Yejin, can you do it?" The pilot's fingers flew across her controls. "It's risky. We'll be exposed for at least 30 seconds while we climb into firing position. But yes, I can do it. Make it happen." The steadfast hope dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Colony 7's system. Immediately, they could see the battle raging ahead. Vrin ships circled the colony, firing on the defensive shields. Small craft tried to evacuate civilians while fighter ships provided what cover they could. "Taking us in," Yejin said. "Everyone hold on." The ship dove downward relative to the battle plane, moving underneath the Vrin formation. Kira watched the tactical display intently, her hands clenched into fists. "There," she said, pointing. "That is the flagship. The one with the gold markings. Daewon saw it. A massive vessel, at least 3 times the size of his ship. It was firing on the colony's shield generator, trying to collapse the protective barrier. "Who commands that flagship?" he asked Kira. She was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was strained. "The markings indicate First Claw of the 7th Fleet. That is my brood sister, Asha." Everyone turned to look at her. Kira kept her eyes on the screen. "Your sister?" Nari asked. "We share a genetic mother," Kira explained. "In Vrin culture, this makes us competitors, not allies. But yes, by human terms, she is my sister." "Will that be a problem?" Daewon asked carefully. "No," Kira said firmly. "She would kill me without hesitation if she knew I had defected. The Empire comes before family, always." Yejin brought the ship up from below exactly as planned. They rose into the Vrin formation like a shark rising from deep water. Before the enemy could react, Taejin fired. The weapon struck the flagship's engines, crippling its movement. Alarms blared on the Vrin ship. Daewon could imagine the chaos inside. "Now get us out of here," he ordered. But the Vrin weren't as disorganized as Kira had predicted. The smaller ships moved to intercept firing on the steadfast hope. Yejin twisted the ship through a series of evasive maneuvers, but they took several hits. "Shields at 60%, Taejin reported. On the main view screen, the Vrin flagship was listing badly, but it wasn't destroyed, and now it was targeting the colony directly, preparing to fire its main weapons. They're going to destroy the shield generator, Kira said, her voice tight. If that shield falls, everyone in the colony dies. Can we stop them? Daewon asked. Not from here. We would need to be inside their shield perimeter. That's suicide, Yejin said. Daewon made a split-second decision. Open a channel to the Vrin flagship, sir. Taejin looked confused. Just do it. A moment later, the screen flickered. A Vrin warrior appeared, tall and imposing. She looked almost exactly like Kira, but her armor was more ornate, her bearing more arrogant. This is First Claw Asha of the Vrin Empire, the warrior said in perfect English. You have damaged my ship, humans. For this, your colony will be destroyed slowly. I will make sure the children die last so they can watch their parents suffer. Daewon felt sick, but he kept his voice steady. This is Commander Daewon of the human vessel Steadfast Hope. I'm giving you one chance to withdraw. Leave this system now or we will destroy your ship. Asha laughed, a harsh sound. One small human ship threatens me? You are either brave or stupid. Probably both. I have someone here who wants to talk to you, Daewon said. He gestured to Kira, who stepped into view of the camera. Asha's laughter died. Her eyes widened in shock. Kira, you are alive? Yes, Kira said. I was captured by humans. They saved my life when they could have killed me. And you betrayed us, Asha said, her voice turning cold. I can see it in your eyes. You wear their clothes. You stand beside their commander. You are a traitor. I am someone who learned the truth, Kira said. The Empire is wrong, Asha. What we do to these people, what we have always done, it is evil. These humans showed me mercy when I deserved none. They taught me that strength is not about cruelty. We have been wrong about everything. You are weak, Asha spat. You were always weak. Mother should have culled you from the brood when we were young. Now you stand with prey animals and call yourself enlightened. You disgust me. Then you have become what I used to be, Kira said sadly. Someone who cannot see past what she was taught. Someone who mistakes cruelty for strength. I pity you, Asha. Asha's face twisted with rage. I will kill you myself, traitor. And I will start by destroying every human in this colony. You will watch them die knowing you could have prevented it by staying loyal. The screen went black. Immediately, the Vrin flagship began charging its main weapon, targeting the colony's shield generator. They're going to fire, Taejin shouted. Kira moved to the tactical console. I can disrupt their targeting systems. But I need direct access to their network. You need to get me close to their ship. That's insane, Yejin said. It's our only chance, Kira replied. I know their codes. I know their systems. I can stop this. But you need to trust me. Daewon looked at the colony on his view screen. Thousands of people, including children, about to die. He looked at Kira, this former enemy who had become an ally. He made his choice. Yejin, get us alongside that flagship. Taejin, drop our shields and extend a data probe. Kira, you'll have 30 seconds before their systems detect the intrusion. Make them count. Sir, this is... Taejin started to protest. I know what it is, Daewon said. Do it anyway. The Steadfast Hope accelerated toward the damaged flagship. Vrin fighters swarmed around them, firing constantly. The ship shook from impacts. Alarms blared, but Yejin kept them on course. Now, Daewon shouted. The shields dropped. The data probe extended, making contact with the Vrin flagship's hull. Kira's hands moved across the console faster than any human could match. Her 4 fingers on each hand gave her an advantage at the complex Vrin interface. I'm in, she said. Uploading disruption code now. On the Vrin flagship, chaos erupted. Targeting systems went offline. Weapons locked. The main cannon that had been charging to fire on the colony powered down. Got it, Kira said triumphantly. Shields up. Get us out of here, Daewon ordered. The Steadfast Hope pulled away from the flagship just as the Vrin finally purged Kira's code from their systems. But it was too late. The colony's defense forces had regrouped. Human reinforcements had arrived. The battle was turning. Asha's voice came over the comm system one last time. This is not over, traitor. I will hunt you across the galaxy. You will die slowly for this betrayal. I know, Kira said quietly, though Asha couldn't hear her. But at least I will die knowing I did the right thing. The Vrin fleet retreated, their flagship limping away with heavy damage. The colony was saved. Thousands of lives that would have been lost were spared. As the adrenaline faded, Kira sat down heavily. She had just betrayed her own brood sister. She had sabotaged her own people's military operation. She had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. The communication from Earth Command came through encrypted channels. Daewon sat in his quarters reading the orders with growing frustration. They wanted Kira transferred to a military intelligence facility. They wanted her interrogated. They wanted to use her. "With respect, sir," Daewon said into the video call. "She's recovering from major injuries. Moving her now could kill her." The admiral on the screen looked unmoved. "She's a high-ranking Vrin officer, Commander. The intelligence she possesses could save thousands of human lives. Your personal feelings about prisoner treatment are noted, but this is war. It's because this is war that we need to maintain our principles," Daewon argued. "If we become like them, what are we fighting for?" "Survival," the admiral said flatly. "You have 48 hours to prepare the prisoner for transfer." "That's an order, Commander." The screen went black. Daewon sat in silence, anger and frustration building in his chest. He believed in the chain of command. He believed in following orders. But this felt wrong. A knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he said. Nari entered, looking worried. "I heard about the transfer order. We can't move her yet. She's stable, but barely." "I know," Daewon said. "But orders are orders." "Are they?" Nari asked. "Commander, I've been talking with Kira a lot. She's changing. Learning. I think she could become an ally given time, but if we throw her to intelligence, they'll break her. They'll turn her into just another source of information, and we'll lose something valuable. What do you suggest I do? Disobey a direct order?" Nari hesitated. "I suggest you do what you think is right. Isn't that what we've been teaching Kira? That principles matter more than blind obedience?" After Nari left, Daewon sat thinking for a long time. Finally, he made a decision. He would follow the order, but he would also file a formal protest, and he would make sure Kira understood what was happening and why. He found Kira in the medical bay, practicing movement with her remaining 2 arms. She was stronger now, able to sit up and even stand for short periods. She looked up when he entered. "Commander," she said. Her voice had lost some of its harshness over the past weeks. She almost sounded friendly. "I need to talk to you about something," Daewon said, pulling up a chair. "Earth Command has ordered your transfer to a military intelligence facility. In 2 days, you'll be taken there for questioning." Kira's expression didn't change much, but Daewon saw her body tense. "They will torture me for information." "No," Daewon said firmly. "Human law forbids torture. But they will interrogate you, pressure you, try to get you to reveal tactical information about the Vrin Empire. And if I refuse, then you refuse. They can't force you to talk. You have rights as a prisoner of war." Kira stared at him. "You're telling me this? Warning me? Why?" "I am your enemy." "Because it's the right thing to do," Daewon said. "You deserve to know what's coming. And honestly, I don't agree with the order. I think you're learning something important here, and transferring you will destroy that." "Learning what?" Kira asked. "That there's another way to live," Daewon said. "That strength doesn't have to mean cruelty. That you can be powerful and still be kind." Kira was quiet for a moment. "In the Vrin Empire, my commanders would never tell me this. They would never warn an enemy. They would use every advantage, every trick, every lie to win." "I know," Daewon said. "That's the difference between us and them. We could lie to you, manipulate you, hurt you, but we choose not to. Even when it would be easier, even when it would be tactical." "This is why you will lose the war," Kira said, but her voice lacked conviction. "Maybe," Daewon said. "Or maybe it's why we'll win. Time will tell." Over the next 2 days, something unexpected happened. Kira started talking. Not because anyone forced her, not because anyone pressured her, but because she wanted to. She told Tae-jin about Vrin ship designs, pointing out weaknesses in their shield generators. She explained to Ye-jin how Vrin pilots trained, revealing patterns in their attack formations. She sat with Nari and described Vrin medical technology, some of which could help human doctors treat injuries better. "Why are you doing this?" Tae-jin asked one evening. "You're giving us tactical advantages." Kira looked at her remaining hands. "Because I have been watching you, all of you, and I realize now that everything my empire taught me was wrong. You are not weak. You are the strongest warriors I have ever seen, because your strength comes from something deeper than physical power." "What do you mean?" Nari asked. "You risk your lives for each other. You debate instead of fighting for dominance. You show mercy to enemies. You follow rules even when breaking them would be easier. This is strength I did not know existed. The Vryn Empire built power on fear and cruelty. But fear makes you weak, cruelty makes you isolated. You humans have built strength on trust and cooperation. This is far more powerful. Daewon, who had been listening from the doorway, stepped into the room. You really believe that? I do, Kira said. And I believe the Empire is wrong. Wrong about humans. Wrong about strength. Wrong about everything. I do not want to be part of that anymore. What do you want? Daewon asked. Kira stood up, wobbling slightly on her healing legs. I want to help you win this war. Not because you forced me. Not because I am your prisoner. But because I believe you deserve to win. The Empire I served is cruel and evil. I see that now. I want to stop them. The room fell silent. This was more than just cooperation. This was defection. This was treason against her own species. Do you understand what you're saying? Daewon asked seriously. If the Vryn Empire learns of this, you'll be marked for death. They'll hunt you forever. There's no going back. I know, Kira said. But I cannot go back anyway. I have seen too much. Learned too much. I cannot return to believing the lies I was taught. Even if you send me away, even if your intelligence people interrogate me, even if I am locked in a cell for the rest of my life, I cannot unsee what you have shown me. And what have we shown you? Neri asked softly. Hope, Kira said simply. You showed me that there is a better way. That strength and kindness can exist together. That warriors can have honor. That mercy is not weakness but courage. In my entire life I never had hope. I only had orders and duty and fear. But here on this ship with you strange humans who save their enemies and debate instead of dominating, I found something I did not know I was missing. Daewon felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He had been dreading the transfer, hating the idea of sending Kira away. But now he had a reason to fight the order harder. If you mean this, he said, if you really want to help us, then I'll fight for you. I'll argue with command. I'll do everything I can to keep you here with this crew. But I need to know this is real. That you're not just playing us. Kira met his eyes. I am third claw of the Vryn Empire. Or I was. When I make a vow, I keep it. I vow to you, Commander Daewon, that I will help humanity defeat the Empire. I will share everything I know. I will fight beside you. I will prove that not all Vryn are monsters. And maybe if we win, I can help others of my kind see what I have seen. She extended one of her remaining hands. It was a human gesture, one she had learned by watching the crew. A handshake, an agreement between equals. Daewon took her hand. Her skin was warm, almost hot compared to human temperature. Her grip was strong but careful, mindful of her strength. Welcome to the team, Kira, he said. That night, Daewon sent a message to Earth Command. He explained everything. He requested that Kira be allowed to stay with his crew as an advisor and cultural liaison. He argued that her willing cooperation was worth more than forced interrogation. He put his career on the line. 3 days later, the response came. Command agreed on a trial basis. Kira would stay with the Steadfast Hope, but she would be monitored closely. And if there was any sign of betrayal, the deal was off. When Daewon told Kira the news, she did something he had never seen a Vryn do before. She smiled. It was a small, uncertain expression, but it was genuine. Thank you, she said, for believing in me, for giving me a chance. Don't thank me yet, Daewon said. Now comes the hard part. We have to prove to both our species that enemies can become allies. That's not going to be easy. Nothing worth doing is easy, Kira said. You taught me that. As Daewon walked back to his quarters, he thought about how much had changed in such a short time. A few weeks ago, Kira had been a dying enemy soldier, offering herself as a mate to survive. Now she was a defector, an ally, and maybe even a friend. The war was far from over. But for the first time, Daewon felt like maybe, just maybe, there was a path to something better than endless fighting. A path that started with showing mercy when killing would have been easier. A path built on the simple human belief that everyone deserved a chance to change. The medical bay hummed softly as machines monitored Kira's vital signs. 3 days had passed since they rescued her from the ruins. Nari had worked almost non-stop to save the alien warrior's life. The medic sat beside the bed now, tired but satisfied. Kira would live. The Vryn warrior's eyes opened slowly. For a moment she seemed confused about where she was. Then memory returned and her whole body tensed. Easy, Nari said gently. You're safe. You're on our ship. Kira tried to sit up, but pain stopped her. She looked down at her body. 2 of her forearms were gone, amputated to save her life. Heavy bandages covered her torso and legs. "You saved me," Kira said. It wasn't a question, but she sounded like she still couldn't believe it. "That's what medics do," Nari replied with a small smile. "But I offered to be your commander's mate." He refused. "Why save me if he does not want my genetics? Why not just kill me and be done with it?" Nari pulled up a chair and sat down. "Because that's not how we do things. You're a prisoner of war now. That means you have rights. We have to feed you, give you medical care, and treat you with basic dignity." Kira's eyes narrowed in confusion. "Rights? Prisoners have rights? This is madness. Maybe to you," Nari said. "But to us, it's civilization. Can I ask you something? Why did you offer to be a mate? Was that really your culture, or were you just desperate?" The alien was quiet for a long moment. "Both," she finally said. "In Vrin culture, when you are defeated in battle, you offer everything you have of value to the victor. For a high-ranking warrior female, the most valuable thing is genetics. Our bodies can adapt our eggs to match the strongest traits of a mate. A human Vrin hybrid would be very powerful. And if the victor refuses," Nari asked, "then you die." Kira said simply, "Usually quickly if the victor is merciful. Slowly if they want to make an example. I expected death, but I thought maybe humans would want powerful offspring. Maybe I could survive by being useful." Nari felt a chill. "So you've seen this happen before? Vrin warriors offering themselves and being killed anyway?" "Many times," Kira said. "I have done it myself to defeated enemies. They offer, I refuse, I kill them. This is the way of war." "That's terrible," Nari whispered. "That is survival," Kira corrected. "The strong survive. The weak die. This is true for all species. Or I thought it was." She looked around the medical bay. "But you humans do not follow this rule. Why?" Before Nari could answer, the door opened. Daewon entered, carrying a datapad. He nodded to Nari, then looked at Kira. "You're awake," he said. "Good, we need to talk." Kira stared at him. "You are the commander. The one who refused my offer." "Yes, my name is Daewon. You're on the human ship Steadfast Hope. You're being treated as a prisoner of war, which means you have certain protections under our laws." "I do not understand your laws," Kira said. "Why do you protect enemies?" Daewon sat down across from her. "Because we believe every person, even enemies, deserves basic dignity. We don't torture prisoners. We don't kill them without reason. We treat them humanely." "Humanely," Kira repeated the word slowly. "This word means treating someone like a human?" "Yes, but I am not human." "Doesn't matter," Daewon said. "The principle is the same. You're a living, thinking being. That earns you respect." Kira was silent for a long time. Her face was hard to read, but Daewon thought he saw something like confusion there, maybe even doubt. "I have killed many humans," Kira said quietly. "In battle I led warriors who destroyed colonies. I watched humans beg for mercy and I gave none. I am your enemy, yet you saved me. This makes no sense." "It makes perfect sense," Daewon replied. "You can't change what you did. But you're not actively fighting now. You're injured and helpless. Killing you or letting you die would be murder, not war." "War is war," Kira said. "There should be no difference." "There's every difference," Daewon said firmly. "If we act like monsters to defeat monsters, what does that make us? We have to be better." Over the next few days, Kira watched the human crew carefully. She couldn't move much because of her injuries, so she observed. And what she saw confused her more and more. She watched through the window as Tae-Jin risked his life to repair a damaged reactor. Another crew member offered to go instead, but Tae-Jin refused. "It's my job," he said simply. "I'm the engineer. I fix things." When an accident injured him, Ye-Jin disobeyed direct orders to rescue him from the reactor room. She could have died from radiation exposure. When Daewon confronted her later, she didn't apologize. "He would have done the same for me," Ye-Jin said. "We don't leave people behind." Kira heard Daewon reprimand Ye-Jin for disobeying orders, but also commend her bravery. He didn't punish her. He didn't hurt her. He just talked to her like an equal. This was completely alien to Kira. In the Vrin Empire, disobeying orders meant death. Questioning superiors meant death. Showing weakness meant death. Everything meant death, but here humans debated. They argued. They voted on decisions as a group. Daewon was clearly the commander, but he listened to his crew. He asked for their opinions. Sometimes he changed his mind based on what they said. One evening, Nari brought Kira her meal. The medic sat down like she always did, ready to talk. Can I ask you something? Nari said. In your culture, do warriors ever question orders? No, Kira said. Orders are absolute. The strong command, the weak obey. To question is to challenge. To challenge is to fight for dominance. Most who challenge die. That sounds exhausting, Nari said. Don't you ever work together? Make group decisions? Why would we? Kira asked. The strongest is the strongest for a reason. They have proven their dominance. Following them is logical. But what if the strongest is wrong? Nari asked. What if someone weaker has a better idea? Kira had no answer to that. In Vrin culture, that situation didn't exist. The strong were right because they were strong. It was circular logic, but it was all she knew. I want to show you something, Nari said. She pulled up a video on her datapad. This is from a colony evacuation last year. Watch. The video showed human soldiers helping civilians escape from a Vrin attack. But these weren't just any civilians. Some of them were Vrin refugees who had fled the Empire years ago. Kira watched in shock as human soldiers died protecting Vrin civilians. They put their bodies between the refugees and the attacking Vrin warriors. Some of the humans who died were killed by the very species they were protecting. Why? Kira whispered. Those Vrin, they were not fighters. They were worthless to you. Why die for them? Because they were people who needed help, Nari said simply. It doesn't matter what species they are. They needed protection and we provided it. Kira felt something crack inside her chest. Not physical pain, but something deeper. Everything she believed about humans being weak prey animals was wrong. These humans voluntarily died for others. Not for glory. Not for dominance. Just because it was right. I do not understand your species, Kira said, her voice shaking slightly. You are all insane. Nari laughed softly. Maybe. Or maybe we just have different values. Tell me, Kira, in all your battles, did you ever feel good about the killing? Did you ever feel proud? Pride comes from victory, Kira said automatically. But then she stopped. Thought about it. Really thought about it. No, she admitted quietly. I felt nothing. Victory was expected. Defeat was unthinkable. There was no room for feeling. That sounds lonely, Nari said. Kira looked at the human medic. This small, weak creature who had spent days saving her life. Who sat with her every evening, talking like they were friends. Who showed her kindness for no tactical reason at all. Yes, Kira said softly. It was very lonely. That night, Kira lay awake in the medical bay thinking. For the first time in her life, she questioned the Empire. She questioned her commanders. She questioned everything she had been taught. Maybe, just maybe, strength wasn't about domination. Maybe mercy wasn't weakness. Maybe these humans weren't prey animals at all. Maybe they were something far more dangerous than the Vrin Empire had ever imagined. They were something the Empire had forgotten how to be. They were kind. And kindness, Kira was beginning to realize, was the strongest force in the universe. The dust on Kepler 442b never settled. It hung in the air like a red fog, making everything look like an old photograph. Commander Daewon moved through the ruins carefully, his rifle pointed forward. Behind him, 3 members of his team followed in silence. The colony had been beautiful once. Now it was just broken buildings and empty streets. The Vrin Empire had attacked 2 weeks ago. They killed everyone and left nothing but destruction. Commander, I'm reading something ahead, said Tae-Jin, looking at his scanner. He was the team's engineer, good with machines and technology. Life signs, Vrin, just 1. Daewon raised his fist and everyone stopped moving. His heart beat faster. A Vrin soldier alone in the ruins. This could be a trap. Could be waiting to ambush us, whispered Yejin, the pilot. Her hand tightened on her weapon. Or could be injured, said Nari, the medic. She always thought about helping people, even enemies. The readings show the life signs are weak. Daewon made a decision. We move forward. Stay alert. Weapons ready. They walked through the broken streets. The buildings around them looked like broken teeth against the red sky. Daewon had seen many destroyed colonies, but it never got easier. Each one had been someone's home. They found the Vrin warrior under a collapsed building. Only the alien's upper body was visible. The rest was trapped under heavy metal beams. The creature's armor was cracked and broken. Dark blue blood pooled around the debris. The Vrin looked up at them. Even injured and trapped, the alien was impressive. She stood at least 7 feet tall, with amber-colored armor covering her body like scales. Her face was angular, with large black eyes that seemed to swallow light. 4 arms extended from her torso, two of them crushed under the rubble. Daewon expected the alien to fight or curse at them. Instead, the Vryn did something completely unexpected. "Human," the alien said in rough but understandable English. "You have won. I am Kira, third claw of the Vryn Empire. I offer myself to you." The team exchanged confused looks. Daewon lowered his rifle slightly but kept it ready. "What are you talking about?" he asked. Kira's breathing was labored. Her voice came out in gasps. "I am warrior of high rank. My genetics are strong. My body can adapt to create offspring with your species. Our children will be powerful. They will be unstoppable warriors. Take me as your mate. This is my surrender." Nari's eyes went wide. "What, is she serious?" "I think she's delirious from blood loss," said Tae-jin, staring at his medical scanner. "She's dying." Kira continued talking, her words becoming more desperate. "I offer everything of value. My body, my genetics, my knowledge of battle tactics. Show mercy, human. Let me live as your mate. Our children will conquer galaxies." Daewon felt a strange mix of confusion and pity. This wasn't how Vryn warriors were supposed to act. Intelligence reports said they fought to the death. They never surrendered. They certainly never offered to become mates with humans. "She doesn't understand," Nari said softly, moving closer to examine the alien. "She thinks we're going to kill her or worse. This must be some kind of Vryn cultural thing." "Commander, we should just leave her," said Yejin. "The Vryn don't show mercy to our people. Why should we help her?" Daewon looked at the trapped alien. Kira's eyes were fixed on him, filled with something he recognized despite her alien features. Fear. Desperation. The universal look of someone facing death. "Because we're not like them," he said quietly. "Nari, can you save her?" The medic was already kneeling beside the rubble, pulling out her medical kit. "Maybe, but we need to get her out first." "Tae-jin?" The engineer nodded and moved to examine the collapsed structure. "I can lift the beams with the right equipment." "Give me 10 minutes." Kira looked confused. "You accept my offer? You will take me as mate?" "No," Daewon said firmly. "We're going to get you medical help. You're our prisoner, not our mate. We don't do things like that." "I do not understand," Kira said, her voice weak. "If you do not want offspring, why save me? Why not kill me quickly?" "Because killing injured prisoners isn't what humans do," Daewon explained. "We have rules, even in war." Kira's eyes seemed to grow even larger. "Rules in war? This makes no sense. The strong dominate. The weak serve or die. This is the way of all species." "Not our species," Nari said, injecting something into Kira's neck. "This will help with the pain. Try not to move." Tae-jin returned with a portable lifter from their shuttle. He positioned it carefully and began raising the heavy beams. The metal groaned and shifted. Kira gasped in pain as pressure changed on her trapped limbs. "Almost there," Tae-jin said, sweat running down his face. "Ready, Nari?" "Ready." With a final heave, the beams lifted enough for them to pull Kira free. 2 of her forearms were crushed beyond saving. Her legs were badly damaged. Blue blood covered the ground. Nari worked quickly, applying emergency bandages and injecting medical foam to stop the bleeding. "She needs a real medical bay, fast. Get her to the shuttle," Daewon ordered. "Yejin, prepare for immediate takeoff." They carried Kira to their small spacecraft. The alien kept staring at them with those huge black eyes. She seemed unable to process what was happening. "Why?" she whispered as they strapped her onto a medical bed. "Why show mercy to enemy warrior? I killed many humans. I would have killed you. Why not let me die?" Daewon looked down at her. "Because maybe, just maybe, showing mercy is how we end this war. Not by being crueler than you, but by being better." Kira closed her eyes. "I do not understand humans. This makes no tactical sense." "Maybe that's the point," Daewon said softly. As the shuttle lifted off from the ruined colony, Nari monitored Kira's vital signs. The alien was stable for now, but barely. "Command isn't going to like this," Yejin said from the pilot seat. "We just rescued a high-ranking enemy officer." "Let me worry about command," Daewon replied. He looked at the medical bay where Kira lay unconscious. "Something tells me this one might be important." "Did you see how confused she was by basic human decency?" Tae-jin nodded. Like she'd never experienced it before. What kind of species has never heard of treating prisoners humanely? "One that we need to understand better," Daewon said. "If we want to win this war, we need to know why they fight. And maybe, just maybe, this Vryn warrior can help us figure that out." The shuttle climbed through the red dust of Kepler 442b's atmosphere. Inside, An injured alien warrior lay sleeping, saved by the very enemies she had been taught to destroy. Neither she nor her rescuers knew it yet, but this moment would change everything. The war between humans and Vryn was about to take an unexpected turn, and it all started with a simple choice to show mercy when victory would have been easier.